way we handle family business. This all has to be handled correctly.
Welcome to the Holy Shhh Podcast. It's your boy ABE from DET.
It's your boy Ryan T, the Icon.
The OCJ Chuck Jordan.
Man, put that dumbass finger down.
What up, though? You know who it is. Your boy King Coach, man. Coach DTM. What's good?
What up, though, man? Money in the Bank this weekend. A lot of pro wrestling going on lately. How everybody feeling?
Man.
Good. It's a lot of wrestling going on.
A lot of wrestling, man. A whole lot. We had, what's that, Saturday night main event. We had Double or Nothing from AEW. What a time to be a pro wrestling fan, man.
Then we had Battleground.
And we had Battleground. Before we get into the pro wrestling, like we always do, we do our mental health check-in topics.
Mental health check-in.
Gotta make sure the brain is clicking on all cylinders. You know what I mean? Coach, start us off with our first topic, sir.
We might need a drop for that. Mental health check-in.
Right. I don't know if that was Elmo or who that was, man. All right, so, this is my topic, man. I love doing this. I am a coach, as y'all know. A relationship coach, life coach. You know what I'm saying?
Coach.
So,
Dr. Coach.
I'm going to drop a question, and then I'm going to answer last, but I just want to pose the question to the fam here. All right?
Okay. All right.
Have you ever felt like a burden, and what did that moment teach you about your worth? As men, because I know men don't talk like this, right? But I feel like this is a way to kind of break the mold for those who are coming behind us who definitely feel the way we feel in a lot of different ways. You know what I'm saying? So talk to us. Should we start with Abe? Because your head cocked to the side like you're thinking right now.
I got to ponder it. One more time, run that question by me so I get the lingo down right.
Have you ever felt like a burden? And what did that moment teach you about your worth?
Have I ever felt like a burden, and what did that moment teach me about my worth?
Yes.
I ain't had those moments too many times, but I will say I got sick around 2020 and got diagnosed with my autoimmune disease, and I was a grinder, man. I was nonstop. Overtime and just always getting to the bag, getting to the money, and getting sick and slowing down my money. It kind of made me feel a little bit like a burden to my family. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was just things we was doing before, the lifestyle we was living. We had a much bigger house. So me getting sick, not being able to like get out there and grind, I did definitely. There was a couple years in that diagnosed stage where I was feeling like a burden and going through the surgeries, not being able to walk. People being there having to take care of me, that really bothered me. And the second part was
The second part was, what did that moment teach you about your wealth?
What did it teach me about my worth is, what did it teach me was I was putting way too much into others and not enough into me. You know what I mean? I think that's what it taught me, because once I went down, I was down kind of by myself, you know what I mean? I was, the people who I was helping and putting up and putting on the situations, they weren't around so much when I was going through that. So I think that's what it taught me the most was just, I didn't invest enough in relationships, you know, because I feel like if I did when I was down, they might have been around. I'm not blaming them like, oh, y'all didn't come help me. I realized, you know, when I was sitting on my ass by myself, like, I didn't invest in relationships. I didn't invest in friendships properly, so I don't blame none of them for being here. You know what I mean? For not being here. But now I heavily invest in relationships. I take them more serious. It was a good moment for me to get humbled in life by God. So that is probably the time I felt most. What was that? What's that word again?
The worth part or burden part?
The burden. That was when I felt like the burden.
Big burden.
I can definitely remember during that time that you did seclude yourself for a minute.
I was in a cave.
We couldn't reach you. I'm like, anybody talk to Abe? What is he? Is he doing all right?
I was knocking on the door and everything.
But that's also
Open the door.
A little bit to what you just said. What it taught me too, man. I just got in a bunker. Like, I'm about to climb out of here myself. Fuck these doctors telling me I can't walk. I'm about to research. I drove to Texas. A lot of people don't know this. I drove to Texas for like this. It was like this holistic kidney cleansing. You know, I spent a lot of money. And I was just doing extra stuff, just trying to figure out how to help myself. So that's what it really taught me, man. It's just bunkering down and figuring shit out, and they'll be laying up like, who's gonna help me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Who's next?
I like that.
You know, me, everything's always awesome. No, I'm joking.
Ron lives a perfect life, bro.
He make it so hard for mental health. I gotta think of something bad for this nigga, man.
No, I can remember for about maybe 3 or 4 years.
I thought you were about to say days.
No,
About 3 days.
No,
I finally felt
about
I was a little gassy.
no, about 3 or 4 years in my job that I was at. There's a gas division and there's an electric division, you know, and I left where I was at in the gas department to chase money, basically. Look for a job that paid a whole lot more, because I was just trying to skip and go ahead. It didn't matter if I wanted to do the job or not. It didn't matter if I thought I was going to be happy. It's like, all right, where can I make the most money? And I did that consistently for about 3 or 4 years, because I would go to the job, it wouldn't work out, I'll come back, and then I would go try something else for the money. And it wouldn't work out, and it really boiled down to, like, find what makes you happy. The money will come. I felt worthless because I kept taking pay cuts going back to the job I was at before, like $15 pay cuts, $20 pay cuts. And we had just closed on the house. I felt like we got a new baby on the way, closed on the house. It was just like constant setbacks, and I felt like, man, maybe it was better. Maybe it'd be better if I wasn't here. I got a good life insurance thing. Maybe I just take myself out, like that type of deal. So I was at a really dark point, but like I said before, many times, like, you never know who really is in your corner, and my wife really stepped in and helped me notice, like, look, we gonna get through whatever we gonna get through. We gonna buckle down. I had to work a bunch of overtime. I put a pause on all my music stuff, put a pause on anything extracurricular, and I just had to buckle down and wait till the job position that I was really wanting to go to opened up. And I've been there for about 7 years, going on 8. So,
Lesson learned there.
yeah, and it's what I learned is just like, stop trying to fast track your blessing, and like, look for what's gonna make you happy. What your happiness is a whole lot better than money, because at a job position that I went for, there's plenty of guys that spent 20, 30 years in that job position, stacking up all this money, going on vacations and stuff, and as soon as they retire, their wife divorces them. Because they were never home. They did all that overtime, all that work, and stacking up all that money. And once they finally retired and they had to be around their wife, the wife's like, I don't like you.
Right.
And it's a divorce. So the main thing is that not chasing money, find happiness first, and then wealth and all that stuff will come along with it. So that's what I learned.
Damn good. Damn
that's
good. Go on.
2020 showed that to a lot of people too, though.
Yeah.
COVID hit, and everybody was stuck in the house together.
Thank
was
God
like,
I was
really
already
like
in that
you.
job position that I wanted to be in, because we was I didn't stop working. We were out there. We just had to take extra safety precautions. So
Yeah.
I need
Thank
another
you for sharing,
pandemic in
Ron.
my life. That pandemic was live. It reset life, man.
It did for some people.
it closed a lot of my favorite
need a
restaurants though too.
pandemic.
I
It
like
canceled
that.
a lot of people's lives too, though. As
Yeah,
far
it
as
did.
like we thinking that we gonna be a couple, we think we strong as we are, and then we get hit by this pandemic, and I'm looking at you like, I don't even really know you. for real.
Right.
I don't like you. Why are you still here? Like, it's crazy. So I've seen that a whole lot. Like,
Why do you wake up eating fruit snacks?
Right.
Yeah.
smack too loud? What's
Right.
too loud?
Chuck.
CJ.
I feel like this a lot. It's a recurring, what is that? The rotating door for me. I've always felt like a burden. I still feel like a burden at times. Haven't learned anything from it.
That's not fair. I shouldn't be laughing. That is not fucking funny.
No.
It's
It's okay.
No, what makes
It's okay.
it
You can
funny
laugh.
is his facial expression behind it.
Hey,
Like,
I did not.
I've learned anything from it. When
He
was
said
the,
maybe next time around. I don't
What's
know.
the last moment you felt like a burden?
I feel like a burden now.
In what capacity?
Because of my negligence and seeing things at the plant, I never wanted to be like. My granddad always told me, you don't always have to hit your head. If you see the guy in front of you about your height hits their head, duck.
Right.
So when I see a lot of guys at the plant, like how you was talking about at your job, for me, I see a lot of guys, and I'm talking about way too many, spend all this time working overtime, and they retire and die like within weeks of
Saw
retiring.
that too.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'd rather just live it up now. Like I got money now. Let me live how I want to live now. Like I don't really think about tomorrow. I'll be like, because tomorrow's not promised. So I'm like, I'd rather enjoy it now. My babies want it. I want something. Like I'm one of those. If I see it, I'm blow it if I really want it that bad.
Right.
And because of my negligence, I lost my crib. And now I've been staying with my mom, and I just feel like a burden. Even though she tells me I'm not, she be like, you helping me out because now you able to do this and this, and I got somebody at the house to, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that the house is safe. When I'm at work, you at, she's like, we never in the house at the same time. And I'm like, yeah, but like this is your space. And she be like, yeah, but I'm help. She's like, you be, because lately I've been really stepping back and put myself on a real crunch to where I can pay off all my credit card debt. That way I can be able to get a loan. So that way I can get a new house. But doing so is like now instead of me always being in the street, I'm always at home, and I'm just like, the more I'm here, I'm like, I don't want to be up in this woman. Like even sometimes when she come home, I just drive and go sit at the park for a couple hours just because I was like, I don't want to be there and her being like, I
Feel
know
like
you
a
work.
burden.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I know you working and I know you paying off your stuff and I know because she knows everything. So it's not like I'm hiding anything from her. She was like, I know that you're working to be able to move, but you're not a burden to me. She's like, you fine. And I'm like, nah, like, because I know how it was when, R.I.P., my cousin had lost, his house his apartment got put, at the time, went through, it got a fire. His neighbor underneath him, the whole apartment building caught on fire. And while he was repairing it, he was like, let me come stay with you for a little bit. I'll help pay rent. I'm like, man, you ain't got to worry about it. Just make sure there's groceries always in the house. And it wasn't like he was a dirty person. He was clean. It was just the fact that I didn't like him in my space. I barely like when my kids is in my space. I really don't want you in my space. And I know how I felt. So I'm like, I can only imagine how I feel to others when I'm always there.
So this is the thing that I want you to think about. So you're not necessarily a burden because you're still her son, right? She's happy to see.
Grown ass man, though, right?
But you're still, but you're still your son. And as
Still
a
her
parent,
baby.
as long as your child is making changes for the better for themselves, you're happy. Yeah, you're in her space, but she's happy that you're in her space and it's you. And she knows the house is taken care of. She knows the house is protected.
She got
Everything
company.
she said, she has company. Because had you had your own place, she'd have been dropping by. I'm telling you. She'd be like, hey, I'm coming by to stay. So now she don't have to make a trip. She just wants to see you do better. So what you've learned is that, okay, I had my time of living up. I did this. I'm off that now. I need to buckle down and get my stuff together so you can get your own place.
I think the biggest thing for me is like, if this would have happened to me in my 20s, you live on your own. Sometimes you got to come back home. Like, I just turned 39. It's like, I'm about to be 40, and I'm back home because I couldn't pay bills.
Sometimes you need a reset.
You know what I'm saying? And then
That's all
I was
it
like,
is.
then the worst part is, like, especially after the pandemic and everything, and I got put out during the pandemic. So that's when I lost my crib. Was right after the pandemic was over, crib gone. Like, they was like, yeah, now the pandemic's over. I'm like, well, I really wasn't working. They like, well, yeah, you still got to pay. And I'm like, well, yeah, but because of pandemic, places is closed, so I should be able to have. They like, no. And I'm like, fudge.
Yeah.
And
So,
then- so it was like-
I get it.
And then, like I was gonna say was, and now, even though I make X amount of money, everything costs so much more now. To where before, if I would have lost my crib, I would have just bounced back to another one. But now, them same cribs that I used to be able to afford, like the neighborhood I used to live in, I think the houses used to cost about $100,000.
Now they too.
Now they like $250, and I'm like, I ain't got no 250 right now. Like my money going downwards. It ain't going upwards. So I'm like, so I need something else.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And
So
my mom, like I said, my mom said she understands. She understands how times is. She was like, gas used to be this price, now it's this price.
yeah, but also
House
your
used to be
kids,
this price, this
the
price. So I'm
kids
like,
are older too, so you don't necessarily need a big of a space as you had before either. So the kids are older, so you can make little bit different decisions. The main thing is that you got to reset. She's happy to see you there, happy to see you doing better, making better choices. So she knows that when you leave this time, you'll be good. So I wouldn't feel like a burden.
This is crazy. I'm glad you kind of brought that up because it's our culture is one of the only cultures that think like this.
Yeah,
right?
I think once you leave, ain't no coming back.
Yeah, or even leave, period. Like, I go into multi-million-dollar homes, bro. They got 9 beautiful cars out there because there are 12 people in the same home, and they all contributing to that same home, and it's
I
just
see that in
working
Dearborn
beautifully.
all the time.
We, as a culture, say, oh, 18?
Get the hell out. Get the fuck
You know what I'm saying? And because we do that, it shortens the strength that we have as a culture.
Yeah.
I think that's
I agree.
programming from how it was. I don't want to bring up slavery, but certain ages they took you. So it was like we got used to. This is the age you have to leave like birds. You have to leave the nest. You got to go.
Yeah, and that's not how it should be.
Right.
And even though my wife and I, we joke about it all the time with our kids, but the door is open. You know what I'm saying? I want you to, if you have to struggle, I want you to struggle a little bit just to get the feeling of what it feels like so that you can understand what,
Build
you
that
know.
character.
Yeah.
Some parents,
But I don't want you to suffer.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
Don't
right.
be
some
out there
parents, as
suffering. Come on.
soon as you leave to go to college, you come back. My room is a workout room. What do we have in my room? I just left last week. What is
Bro,
going on?
my dad turned my room into an indoor closet, like his own walk-in closet. Like I kid you not. Like I told him,
I got a clothes room.
he got more space than my mom, and I was like, I'm coming to live with you. He was like, yeah, nah. Man. He was like, you going to have to figure it out.
And so it's a double-edged sword right there, right? So if you do come back and you just so happen to be a couch warrior, right? You don't want to work, you don't want to do nothing, you just want to play the game. As your dad, I can get back on you. Bro, this ain't what I taught you. This ain't what you do. You see me out here.
Yeah.
You see your mom. You see this. You see. Come on, let's get out. Let me see if I can help you, etc.
Yeah.
If you are out there just struggling on your own, to your parents, sometimes it looks like social media because all I see is the good stuff.
Yeah.
You come over when you're feeling good. You come over when you can do something. But when I can see you at your lowest, I'm like, bro, need this. Let me just add. Let me show. Because you shouldn't. Some people probably still do, but you shouldn't feel a way about asking your mom or your dad for help, support. Can you help me a little bit? Support.
Right.
Now, don't let them do when you're fully capable of doing too. You know what I'm saying? But so like for us, it's the other way around. My wife's mom and dad, they older, right? So they at a stage where we was like, nah, it's safer for you to be with us as opposed to y'all trying to be on your own.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So we pulled you in and you here. And to your point, especially her dad, he's a man, right? And he's like the old school man. So he's like, what can I help do? I can't get up and move much, but I can help pay a bill, or what do you need me to help do? Because this is what I'm here for.
You a good one. My wife, mama going in a home. Ain't no coming to our house. I'm sorry. It just ain't happening.
I mean, but they say that the difference between that one what's that Lil Rel? He's like different. He was like sons is quick to put you in the nursing home. Like, you all right, daddy? You good? All right, they gonna take care of you.
Yeah.
Take care of you. He said your daughters. He said nah. He's like they'll go to war with their husband. Like, I don't care what you say, Earl. My daddy is staying with us.
Right. When did you feel a burden, Tay?
So for me, this question
This
hit.
morning. No, I'm just-
Right. This question hit home for me. That's why I brought it up, because I literally felt like a burden from the time I can remember being born. Of course, I don't remember birth, but from the time that I can remember, the earliest moment I can remember, I felt like a burden. And it was because let me tell y'all something. I grew up on the east side of Detroit. I'm talking about one of the places we moved every year, right? So I never really had stability like that. one of the homes that we stayed in, it was an apartment building. It was probably no bigger than this room, but a whole apartment. And I can reach up and touch the ceiling at my age now. Then I couldn't, but it was huge then. But I had moments where, like, my grandma would look at me and just be like, I hate you, right? I'm like, what I do? I'm like 6, 5, 6 years old. What I do? But I used to get abused as a kid. I had one of my mom's boyfriends at the time was like a molester, and he would get drunk and come in and try to touch on me and do things like that. And I was just stuck in it. And I can remember, I'm like, bro, why am I here? Like, who am I helping in this situation? So even as I became an adult, into adulthood, I still felt the same way, to the point where I was like, oh, okay. So in order for me to not feel like a burden, I had to go out and do what we would like to call stupid things, to offset the feeling. So the part where I think I learned that I wasn't a burden was I kind of did what Abe did a little bit. Like, I separated myself from a lot of people, especially family, because I felt like I need to see who is really for me. You know what I'm saying? So I can remember just sitting with my wife one time, and some of me being a burden created me getting dumb habits. And I can remember her being hurt, but still staying. And I'm like, yo, maybe this is real. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at, if your mom, your dad, your grandma tell you, I hate you. You got other people that's just using you for what you can do at that moment. You got people who just, can I get a couple dollars? You give them a couple dollars. Oh, you got a skill set? Let me get that skill set. That's all I want. I don't really want you. So then you try to find people who want you for whatever, in your quote unquote you.
Right.
But sometimes you're looking so hard that you overlook the person that's actually there for you. You know what I'm saying? So my wife was the one who showed me my worth and was like, yo, that's what they did. That was their error. It had nothing to do with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that kind of would put me on my whole journey as a motivational speaker, as a coach, to show other people, like, we can pinpoint how worthy you are.
Right.
Yeah, you kind of, in order to do that type of thing, you kind of got to go through and overcome a lot, because if you don't, you're not going to relate to nobody. Everybody, man, you ain't never been through this, you ain't never been through that. But if you've been through a lot and you came back around to being okay, that's when those are the best motivational speakers, and to lift people up, because they can say, I can relate to what you're going through.
Exactly. Like, what people don't know is I went through that, what I just told y'all. I was also born with a hearing deficiency. So as a elementary kid, I was supposed to wear hearing aids. They was big, dumb hearing aids, right? So I'm talking about the old boys that you could turn the dial like this right here, right? And so I told y'all we moved a lot. So my mom lost one. When she lost one, that was the green light for me to lose the other one. But so I had to purposely, right? So I had to figure out a way to overcome what they would call a handicap and use it as a stepping stone. Like, okay, let me figure this thing out.
So they used to call you radio?
No, that was the start of me becoming a thug as a kid, because I wanted somebody to say something. I used to collect bullets before I can get a gun. I was really young. I was still in elementary.
You was throwing them at people?
I was on
He said, this one got your name on it.
Somebody said something to me. I was on the playground, and I took the bullet, and I threw it at the dude, hit him in the head, right? And he was like, he just hit me with a bullet. Like, he grabbed my head and everything. So I ended up getting suspended for that. And they kept asking, like, where did you get the bullet from? Where's the gun, et cetera. I'm like, what gun? I just know bullets hurt people and kill people. Right. I never had the concept at that moment, right? So I'm sitting here like... but that was it. As soon as anybody said anything about me, in that situation, we finna go down. Let's have them. Look, watch your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And to the point now where I've gotten so good with my hearing that my college professors was like, how did you make it through college with this hearing like this? I used to manipulate. I thought I did anyway. I don't know if I did or not. You know the hearing test they used to give you back in the day when you got to raise your hand? I was in that boy sitting in the chair and raising my hand. I don't hear nothing. I'm just... So I hear like the first few of them that they start real loud with. Then I don't hear nothing. So I'm trying to think about the pattern that they probably doing. And I used to somewhat pass. So I was like, oh, I figured this thing out. So I know they was probably not even hitting the button. They was like, look at this food. Look at this food.
Right.
But yeah, so to this day, right now, people still have, unless I say it, they don't know. Like I hear way different than everybody else. Like you probably hear actual word. I hear the vibration of how the words sound. And I figured out, oh, this means that. But if you're a woman and you got a really soft voice, say it again.
Yeah.
Text me something.
Right. Damn good topic, man. Damn good topic. Next topic. Let's jump into this. I think it was a good segue when Chuck was talking about his mom and parenting, and you as well. It's kind of what I wanted to bring up. Last week we were talking about the term "man up," and it got me thinking when I went home, where does that arrive from? And it kind of arrives from a father figure, and it got me thinking about me being a father and all of us being fathers and our fathers. And my question to y'all is what is the difference between you being a father and your father being a father to you? And what do you do as a father that you wish your father did for you?
That's a lot to unload.
It is. That one.
I figured
that
it
one,
would be.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to answer that one.
You want me to start it off?
No,
I'll go.
Let
Okay.
Ron start. I feel like Ron actually got.
Oh, Ryan, you got something?
No, you
intake
go
on
first. You go first, because I got to cipher through how I can put this. So.
All right, so I'm trying to think of
Love you, Dad. I
clean
do.
words to use because I used to feel like my grandfather was more of a father than my own father until my grandfather died, and my dad. We made peace from what happened to me as a child, and now we got a great relationship, which is really weird. But it's like I had to learn how to forgive, and I had to learn how to have patience when he didn't have any. My dad, well, to be honest with you, he wasn't really raised by my grandfather. My grandfather used to be a drunk. So when my dad was like, when my grandfather moved from Detroit to Romulus, he was like, my dad was like, I don't want to go. He was like, fine. And my grandma at the time never would argue with my granddaddy. She would just be like, all right, well, you want to stay here, you can stay. So it was like, go ask who you want. And then he went and stayed with my aunt, with one of his aunts, who gave him everything he could ever want. He was like, I was one kid in Detroit was just spoiled. But then it got a time when he had to go to Romulus. He had to go live with his dad. And even though my granddad would give him stuff, like I said, my granddad was a drunk. So it was like, I have no idea there were dire dynamics, but he was like, his upbringing made him the man that he was. And he didn't know how to be a father to me, especially when I'm nothing like him.
Right.
I am the complete opposite. Like, when my dad's like a real people person, I'm quiet and just really observant. Like, I'm talkative to people I know. But if I don't know you, I just.
He wasn't a people person with you, like talkative with you?
No, not at all. My dad used to get mad at me, like when he introduced me to people and be like, "Oh yeah, this is my son and this and this. Hey, say something." Hi. Boy, speak up. Hi. Go talk to the man about this. I don't know him. And I would just shut down. He'd be like, "That ain't that. I told you to go." I'm like, I'm not you. I'm not. My dad can go to any room and just hey, I do it.
Yeah.
I'm sneaking in the room and kind of just.
You're an introvert, basically. He's an extrovert.
My dad is an extreme extrovert. I found out I am what they call a ambivert. I have a lot of introverted ways, but I can be this way. But it has to be certain conditions.
I'm the same way.
Like when we used to perform, which is really weird for doing music. But anytime the venue was really small and they didn't have a stage where I feel like I'm amongst the people. My heart would be racing. I'd be fluttering. I didn't want to be there. And I'm like, I feel like
when you had that separation.
I feel like you can physically grab me.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. As opposed to if I'm on stage, I'm like, all right, I'm just performing and I'm getting the hell out of here. So for me, it was like I had to overcome being able to get over stage fright from small venues. But I used to love large venues because I'm like, I don't feel like I'm amongst the crowd. I'm here, y'all over there. I'm doing my thing, and then I'm going right back through these curtains. I don't have to go out into the crowd. I can go through these curtains and go out the back door, get back in my car, breathe, let my anxiety come back down.
Smoke a joint.
That was before I was smoking, but that was back when I used to. Y'all remember I used to be like, I wouldn't drink before the set. After the set, I need a few drinks to bring me back down. But it was like a lot of people didn't realize that I was who I was until people be like, I just realized you talkative as hell. You wasn't really talkative when we first met. I didn't know you when we first met. Like once you were around me enough, you realize I'm a chatterbox. I can talk for days, but until then, I'm just like, hi.
Yeah.
So you broke down the differences between the two of y'all. Is that the thing that you wish he'd do more, or what do you wish he would do?
Patience.
That's what you have that he doesn't have, that you
Yes.
wish he would have had. All
Patience and forgiveness is the two things that I feel like I have that he doesn't.
Gotcha.
To where my dad, if I told you to do something, I want it done. Like I can remember one time when he was like, the grass better be cut Friday at 10. And I was like, 10 what? And he was like, fuck around and find out. And he left. and the worst part is, my friends used to always joke, was like, I didn't even know your dad lived here until your dad retired. Because my dad was an international rep, so he was always on the road.
Right.
So my dad would come home Friday, leave Sunday. He'll come home Friday.
For the weekend. And then
He'll come home Friday, unpack his bag. And my mom would always have like 3 suitcases in rotation for him. He would unpack one, throw all his dirty clothes where it needed to be, set it up, let her know what he needed in that one, grab this one, take her out on Saturday. That was their little date night. Sunday, he would play basketball with me, or we used to have a boat. We'll go down to the boat, spend the morning, and then around the middle of the night, or afternoon night, when I'm getting ready to go to sleep, he grabbed one of them suitcases and back on the road, so I don't see him all week. So a lot of my friends seeing me through the week was like, I didn't even know your dad lived here.
Right.
I was like, my dad lived with me my whole life. They was like, never saw him. And I was like, and then some weekends he didn't come home. So it was like, if he was here, he was here. Or you might miss him, because he might be, like I said, he'll be with my mom on Saturday, hang out with me on Sunday, and Friday, sometimes he would go hang out with his friends. So he was really never amongst the home. Right. But I remember when I was supposed to cut the grass, and I'm like, 10 what? And he was like, find out. And I'm like, for real, what time? 10? And my god sister come over, and her and my mom making jokes about it. They was like, well, 10, you tell me, you better figure it out, 10. And I'm like, no, like for real, I got to get the grass cut by 10, but it's raining Thursday. So then 10 on Friday, my mom was like, all right, we going to the mall. I'm like, all right, I got to cut the grass. She was like, you should have cut the grass earlier this week. I was like, well, I usually cut it on Thursday, so it's done Friday, but it rained yesterday, so I got to cut it today.
Right.
Long story short, my mom made me go because I was too young to go. I come home, the grass is completely cut. My dad is sitting in a chair in the garage, just rocking, waiting for me.
Damn.
And I'm like, and then my cousin was like, I guess it was 10 a.m. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Damn, yeah, fathers is important. Ron T, what
He
is the
was
difference
pissed.
between you and your father, and what attributes you have as a father you wish he would have had growing up with you?
Well, my grandfather, to my dad, he's a military granddad, basically. He was strict. He was always about your presentation. If he came over and my hair wasn't combed, he's combing through it, and he's combing through the naps. He's not stopping. He's
Right.
You hearing that snap. So that's where I got staying groomed from my grandfather. It's just, all right, granddad's coming over, you gotta be straight. But he was hearing stories about how it was with him raising my dad. It was some stuff. So my dad went through a lot physically with my grandfather. I'll just put it like that. Mm-hmm. And he kind of, not as bad. And I think as parents, we try to do a little bit better than our parents.
Right.
So my dad I'm a twin. My twin was always into sports more than I was. I'm a creative, so I was more into like creative stuff or stories or fiction and all that type of stuff. I didn't find out till I was an adult that me and my dad are a whole lot more alike than I thought. But so I always felt like the odd person out because I'm trying to figure out sport. I knew basketball, but I'm trying to figure out football on the fly. And if I say something wrong that isn't right, him and my brother are laughing at me, then I go seclude myself.
Right.
But my dad had
Something like, I just scored a 3-point touchdown.
yeah, something like
Get
that.
the fuck out.
Yeah. So him and my brother connected a lot, and I think the disconnect was like me and my mom were closer when I was growing up, and him and my mom ended up getting divorced. They didn't have a great marriage. They tried their best as parents. I learned a lot. I'm the person I am today because of both of them, but they made a lot of errors. And one of his coping method was when him and my mom get in an argument or something like that is to drink. So I was kind of his first target because I was closer to my mom. So if he's mad at my mom, I would be the first one he'd take it out on. So it wasn't until I was in high school, or it was either middle school, like my 8th grade year, I think it was. We had a computer in our den. I wrote a note on the computer, told him about how I felt. Felt like I was his punching bag, all that type of stuff. Just laid it all out. Said, hey, Dad, it's a note on the computer for you. And I left. He read it. And from that day forth, started the repair of me and my father's relationship. So what I've taken from that is I don't drink to get drunk. I drink because I like the taste of certain things.
Right.
But the moment I get the buzz, I'm chilling.
Right.
I'm a lot more patient than my dad is. I won't lay a hand on my daughters unless they do something really, really bad. And then, all right, one pop, hey, you knew better than that. But it got to be really, really bad. Most of the time, I'm a lot more patient when it comes to talking to them. So patience and grace. My dad told me I don't understand how you forgave me for that type of stuff. So, but yeah, me and my dad are really close now.
That's
but
good.
it took a minute.
I got a question for y'all before I don't mean to interject you, but
Yeah.
I used to find it funny that me and my grandfather were so close, considering everybody used to paint my grandfather a certain way, and I never saw any of the stuff.
Same.
I think it came down to one day my granddad was he used to smoke cigarettes, and the doctor told him he had he was developing black lungs, and they was like, you got to stop. He said, man, y'all know what the fuck y'all talking about. He walked out, and I was like, Papa, I really think you should stop smoking. He was like, you want me to quit? I'm like, yeah. He was like, all right.
And he quit.
Threw it out the car. Never seen him smoke again. And I was like, it's that easy? He's like, I used to be a drinker. I'm like, everybody say that. He was like, I used to drink bad. He said, I'm talking about, I used to go home, give your grandma the check. She'd give me a little bit of money for drinking. And that was I'd go back to work. And when I got off between hours, I'd go to the bar, go back to work, go back to the bar, go back to work. He said, but that's how I function.
He must have worked at the plant.
Worked at the plant. I'm a third generation in the plant.
Yeah.
But he was like, that was my coping mechanism. He said, but when your grandma told me I want you to stop, I stopped. He said because for me it was she's more important than that taste of liquor. He said, and you were more important to me than that cigarette. He said, you just gotta find something that matters to you in front of it. Long story short, I was like, me and him had a wonderful relationship. And I'd be looking at my mom and dad sometimes like, y'all are great with my kids. Like, what was that for me?
Right.
Like, why is it like great?
I think, yeah.
Parents,
I think they
parents
it's
like
their second time around.
Yeah.
Second time
I
around.
was gonna say, like, I don't know about how they are with y'all,
Also-
but like
because-
my dad is like great with my girls, and I'm
Yeah.
like, he wasn't. I was like, when was that when I was a kid?
Also, because it ain't their job to raise them, it's yours. So
Yeah.
I don't need to raise them. That's your
Right,
job.
right.
My
I'm not the
job
full
is just
time.
to be.
I'm not the full-time
Yeah,
parent.
so-
I'm
You
the
get what I'm saying,
grandparent.
though, like-
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like my dad is like I'm talking about when my kids was little and I was working so much. Every daddy-daughter dance he took them to when they wanted to just go to the
That's
movies.
just
he took 'em.
making up. That's
And I'm
all
like-
it is.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
like,
I knew I was
Coach.
trouble.
Like I was
You're
gonna say,
different.
even like when he turned up my room to a walk-in closet, he turned the master bedroom into their room, like because they asked for that room. It was like, we want this room. He was like, all right, sure. And decorated. I'm like,
What is this?
what is this?
You ever notice Chuck would say, I'll make a long story short. It's long.
It's long.
It's
I
not
tried.
fucking short.
That's a long story long.
Damn, coach. No.
I tried.
What's the difference between your parenting, and your father's parenting, and what would have liked him do that you do as a father?
So my dad had 6 kids with 5 different baby mamas. Woo. Right, and I'm the oldest. So as the oldest, I'm the oldest actually on both sides, my dad and my mom. So
He said, "I'm gonna keep it."
I'm the one who they had to practice with to see if this works, to see if they get it right, type thing. And the one thing I can remember about my dad, for one, is he's always been a hustler, a grinder. He out here, right? He to the point where he started working at Burger King when he was 16, just regular crew member. Worked his way up to director operator of the whole company, right? And then the company ended up closing down, and I watched him go from I don't know what to do, but I'm gonna keep trying to grind it out to okay, I'm gonna shift into a different career. And he still grinded out and got it again. We had to lose a house, to lose a couple things, but he bounced back and got it going. That's one of the things I liked about my dad. The fact that he saved my life because I was going down the wrong road, and he was like, "No, come move with me." Especially when I got up the nerve to tell him what was going on in the crib, he was like, "What?" And I watched him step in the house, step to my man, hem him up, shake him down, and then from there. Now you finna move with me.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, bet. I should have been did this. But I didn't know. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I told other people, and they tried something, and it didn't go the right way. So I was like, I guess I just got to, deal with it. But the thing that I wish that he had that I actually taught him later in life, because he see me do it with my kid, was having emotional awareness. Because... I came up in the era where you couldn't have emotions. What is that? You don't pay no bills. You ain't got no emotions.
Man up.
Man up. You don't pay no bills. What could you possibly be sad about? You know what's sad? I gotta work, get my check in 2 weeks, and get this whole check to somebody else for these type of bills and things of that nature. That's sad. You ain't got to do that. I was like, oh, okay, all right, I get it. But he see me with my kids. I got all boys, and I try to show them emotional awareness. I understand you might be going through something. I'm here for you. Talk about it. Let's get it out. You know what I'm saying? Don't hold with that. You feel me? Talk about it. And Trick, I'm gonna come holler at you because you're trying to.
Yeah, Trick is still in his line, man.
But the emotional awareness is the one thing that I wish he had when I was coming up. But I'm glad that he's developing it now.
I got you. So makes sense.
And I'm just gonna make mine short.
Right. I feel like that was a shot.
We run out of time here, but mine's is kind of simple. My dad is the difference between me and him, he a big faith person. He like the biggest religious person I know. He like read the Bible like it's a newspaper, like it's going to change from one day to the next. It probably do.
Understanding.
But he's a very religious person. He got a good spirit, but sometimes I think that's to his detriment. He'll be in a situation and he'll pray. Get up, Well, my knee hurt. I'm about to pray on it. Why don't you get up and stretch? I'm struggling here. I'm about to pray on it. Why don't you go find a second job? You know what I mean? I think sometimes the difference between me and him is I do believe there is a God. There's one God. There's one high almighty. But at the same time, in my studies and belief as I get older, we are all God-like. And we have the ability to do the same things God do. We just sometimes choose to put it in his hand, do it for us. And that's the difference between me and him. And one thing that I do wish that he would have had more is like when you believe in religion so much, sometimes you got that phrase, I'm going to let go and let God. I'm just going to let, and that's what sometimes my brother, I got an older brother. Yeah, he did too much. Like if I don't call my dad or I don't invite him over, he like, well, you ain't called me. You didn't, whereas my mom, I can go a week without call. I'm pulling up. I got to see my grandbabies. It's a different effort. And I wish that he would have that like I have it, where I'm always active in my kids. Like, I don't care if my daughter give me an attitude. I'm coming in, you cool yet? You done? He don't come back after you done. And I got an older brother who was murdered. And we was half brothers, so we didn't grow up together. But as we got adults, we met. And we was just about to get going. And I reached out to my dad and I said, I was about to talk to Mike and, try to build a relationship with him. He's like, oh man, he kind of got into it with me. Just let him breathe. Don't reach out to him. Let him breathe. Let him figure it out on his own. 2 weeks later, he got murdered.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like, that sat with me with my dad. Like, man, you got to be more active. You can't always put everything on God.
But also, was it faith without actions?
Faith
Yeah.
without work.
I was gonna say
Without
prayer
work.
without works.
Faith without
Yeah,
works.
exactly.
Yeah.
Faith
Yeah.
without works, And we both got the autoimmune disease I got it from both my mom and dad. So we fight it together. And sometimes I'll tell him how I can't eat sugar, can't do some things. I come over, he down in a 2-liter complaining about his knee. Like, bruh, come on. You can't eat sugar.
So
all right?
let me ask you this: before you was diagnosed, did you know your mom and dad had it?
It goes back to what we said earlier. I didn't invest in people before 2020. I was a real me, and my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So subconsciously I knew, but I didn't care as much as I should have until it hit me. And I'm like, damn, y'all go through this too? Yeah, that's why I had that medication in the refrigerator. That's why I had that box delivered in a cooler every week. That's what that medicine was. And me as an inconsiderate person, I never
He's like, what box?
Yeah, what? I just thought that was a delivery in a cooler every week. That's
you was
my
getting 40
medication.
ounce.
So yeah, I did know, but I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't care like I did now. But that's the one thing I do wish. But damn, we hit the mental topic. Helly this show. I think we got room for damn near one wrestling question.
All right.
Let's who want to do it?
All right, here we go. So,
Ryan.
with Money in the Bank
There we go.
coming up, who is your favorite male and female cash-in?
Oof, male and
I will start
female
with
cash.
Coach, and we're going to have to do Chuck last because it's probably going to be the longest.
Right. No, it's gonna be a long story short.
My favorite male Money in the Bank would probably be when Seth Rollins had it.
Okay.
I think the anticipation and the hype was just so there
Right.
that it just had to be it had to be him. Woman wise, she wasn't too big on the roster like that, but for some reason she kind of stuck on me and grew. Like it was just like, let me see what's going to happen next, and that's Carmella.
Yeah.
So Carmella was hilarious.
When
with
she
it.
cast it, she's yelling at the
2017.
ref like,
Yeah.
take it. And the ref like, you want it? She's like, go.
So that'll be mine. I was gonna say Charlotte Flair, but she went hers this year, not in the past. So that's her first one.
That ain't bad, man.
All right, can I go now?
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Mine is the Miz for the male because everybody was like, this reality TV star guy.
When you cash
Which
in on
one?
Orton.
The
Which
first
one? The first one?
First
Okay,
one.
all right.
Was that on Orton?
I don't remember who it was on. I just remember him.
Because he was with
cashing in.
Damian Sandow at that point.
Could have swore it was before that.
Okay. So you might have cashed in twice.
And then the for the females, it would have to be when Asuka was going to turn it on Becky, and she was all, you're not ready for me. You're not ready for me. And then she was like, did you open the briefcase? No, because you're not ready for me. And then she opened it up, and it was, of course, the title was in the thing because she was getting ready to have a baby.
Oh yeah, I remember that pandemic baby.
And then
Yeah,
Asuka was like,
yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. That was a damn good one.
I'm done.
My men's cash in, my favorite one would have to be Dolph Ziggler. You know, I think when he cashed in on Alberto,
Yeah.
that was kind of around the time where I just started getting back into wrestling because I took a little break. So when I seen that was just a dope moment. Plus, I love Dolph's music. When it hit, that shit, man. So when I heard that and him come out, it just, the 2 and 2, it was a great moment.
Did he cash
Also,
in
'cause
once
he-
and lose?
I don't know if he did. But I know because he was always the king of almost at that
he
point.
was.
So, yeah, that was cool.
And my female cash in, just because it was different, was Charlotte. When she cashed in and she didn't take the main roster titles, she went after Rhea Ripley's NXT.
yeah.
That was just different. That was like, oh shit, she trying to beat Thanos, collect all the rings. But yeah, so give me Charlotte and Dolph Ziggler.
Okay. Well, my favorite male was somebody that was also involved in that Dolph Ziggler one was actually Big E. When Big E got his first title defense, or he got his first title, when he cashed in on Bobby.
Right.
So Bobby had that big match, and he was stumbling. He was like limping back to the ring, and then Big E came out, and then it still looked like Bobby was going to, he was still going to win. But yeah, that one was dope because that was special for Big E to get his first title.
Yeah.
And then the New Day came in, and all of them cried and all that stuff. That whole moment was dope. Now my female one I had an honorable mention was when Nikki Ash cashed in on Charlotte, but it was after Rhea Ripley beat up Charlotte, threw her back in the ring, and then Nikki. That was cool. But my favorite would be the most recent one, actually, with Tiffany Stratton. And that was only because they kept teasing it, and they kept teasing it, and kept teasing it. And then she came out, said she was going to cash in, and then hit Naomi. They teased it again. It's not going to happen. And then she double-crossed them. And it was just such a big surprise, and finally happy to see Tiffy get her title, and she still has it. So it actually means something. It wasn't just like a week. Get out of here.
She's actually doing good at the champ, too. She's doing good at the champ.
So it just wasn't. It wasn't just like a week or a month or something like that. She's doing really good with it. So that one was pretty cool, just because of the fake outs that they were doing.
I wasn't happy with her being a champ, but I'm actually satisfied. Like, she's doing really good at the champ.
With Money in the Bank, I think we already gave this, but can we do a quick round before we get out of here? Predictions with Money in the Bank this weekend, male and female. Who you got, Ron?
Well, at first I thought it was going to be Melo, but we saw what happened with that. So just come back to me. I got to think about it.
Yeah.
Where you got, Coach?
Yeah, I'm with y'all, too. I really don't know where it's going, but L.A. Knight, you know. L.A. Knight for the men's, and I don't even know if is Charlotte in it?
Charlotte's not in it.
Nope.
No, she lost.
Nobody for the women. They're just gonna let two men get it.
Right. Get out of here. All right, Chuck.
Roxanne Perez. And I don't even know who the men's are right now.
I'm going with Seth Rollins. I feel like he's going to be a second Money in the Bank winner, two-time Money in the Bank winner. I'm going with Seth Rollins, and I'm also going with Roxanne Perez.
I like that selection.
I'm gonna go with
Seth Rollins selection.
Yeah,
I like that
I think Seth is going to win it, because I was pulling for Melo, and now it's looking like it's going to be Seth. His plan is going to come through.
He got the biggest story out of
Yeah.
everybody.
That's what I was thinking.
I think somebody else is going to get close. I think Penta or Andrade is going to get really close. And something's going to happen, and Seth is going to end up winning
Penta's
it.
probably going to tiptoe back out the ring.
But as for women, I think with Stephanie Vaquera coming in, I think she's going to qualify. That's going to be a great match. But I do think Roxanne Perez is going to come out on top because storytelling reasons.
I like how Julia and
Stephanie,
Roxanne are in it.
Yeah, Julia,
that's dope.
Roxanne. And I believe Stephanie Vaquera is going to.
She might be, it's another qualifying match this week. It's Monday, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to this Money in the Bank, but I think Roxanne Perez.
But you know what I'm really looking forward to? John Cena.
But speaking of Money in the Bank,
funny if he cashes in, if Seth cashes in,
it would be
on him. That'd be great.
But speaking of Money in the Bank, make sure you guys tune in. We're going to do something different this weekend on Money in the Bank. We are streaming live as the show goes on Twitch. So check us out on Twitch. We might co-stream it on TikTok, but definitely it will be on Twitch. We're trying to build that up. And to run through our schedule before we get out of here, just so you guys know, we always do a post show. If you don't see it a half hour after show, you see it the morning after. So Monday, you got Monday Night Raw post show with all of us. Tuesday, Ron T usually handles NXT. Wednesday, myself and Bald Bro. Thursday is what you're watching right now, our main studio show. Friday, SmackDown Live with the whole crew. Saturday is Sunday, usually vary. Saturday is always AEW Collision with me and Bob Bro, but we also got a game show starting soon, and sometimes it may be a PLE. And Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, our special guest interview. We pick random people every week, and we have them on the show. And if you want to be on it, Chuck, tell them.
Hit us up.
Hit us up. But till next week, we're going to talk a little more wrestling. We got a little tied down with the mental health, but that's good, man. Sometimes you need to get lost in the conversation and say the hell with everything. You know what I mean?
And speaking of getting lost, get lost on our website and get the merch.
Get the merch. Tay's new shirt. Check it out. Pin Fear, Tap Out Doubt, Coach DTM, King Coach if you know him. But yeah, check it out.
I should have one in 2 weeks.
Coming soon. But till next week, Money in the Bank. Y'all know who it is. It's your boy AB from DET.
It's your boy Ron T. the Icon.
I am the one, Chuck Jordan.
And y'all know me, man. He said we got merch. Go get it. Coach DTM, King Coach to y'all. Talk about it. Talk about it. Huh?
And you guys have been tuned in to the Holy Shhh Podcast. Peace.